What's going on, everyone? My name is Coach Hayes. This is the 8th Street Gym, and today I want to cover a topic that really impacts all sports, and unfortunately, I'm talking about injuries. Injuries can be the reason why an athlete's breakout season gets cut short, why a team's playoff hopes get derailed, and even why a performance coach loses their job. But with a proper plan in place, we can help mitigate these injuries, help give the body the protection it needs, and we can help maximize player availability. We're not talking injury prevention. We're talking injury protection, 8th Street Gym style. I'm gonna break down the 7 most common injury areas that I've seen over the course of my 10+ year career. And I'm gonna throw in an 8th bonus section for all our pitchers, throwers, quarterbacks, even our punchers out there. Gonna cover 6 exercises that we can do for each one of those common injury areas. And I'm gonna provide ways that you can implement this within your training environment. If you're an athlete, if you're a coach out there, you're not gonna wanna miss this. 8th Street Gym Injury Protection Plan. Let's go. All right, here we got it. Our injury protection plan. There's a lot on this board, so let's break it down. The first common injury that we want to address is the ankle. I don't care if you're sprinting, you're jumping, you're changing direction. This is where it all starts. I'm gonna want to take care of this area. Our 6 go-to exercises for the ankle. First up, we're doing Tib Raises. A lot of times we get that calf from running, jumping, practicing, but how often am I getting that reverse action where I'm bringing the toes towards the shin? Easy to do. We can high rep that, really kind of fully develop the whole ankle where we're not just addressing the backside. Next up, 3-way walk. I'm doing tiptoe walks, I'm doing heel walks, and I'm doing some bent knee walks where I'm really trying to target that soleus, and I'm going in all different directions, forward, back, side to side. Next up is I like a balancing toe touch. You can get a slack block or a sand dune and make this really challenging, or I can use the ground and just be on a floating heel and still get some good work. The idea with this is that I'm having to have the ankle, the knee, and the hip all work together. Next up, I got 2 up, 1 down calf raise. I'm doing a regular calf raise with both legs coming up, but then I'm gonna kind of release one leg and focus on that single leg going down, really concentrating on the eccentric portion of that calf raise. If we're working the calf straight leg, we gotta hit it bent knee. But how do we load that? If I don't have a seated calf raise machine, what I like to use is bands. If I use a dumbbell, oftentimes I'm kind of holding that dumbbell with my hand and I'm not really getting the load I need. Try it, hooking up some bands over a rack, and I'm getting a lot of good pressure on that top of the quad where I can really get some good soleus work, working bent knee calf raises. And then last exercise, overcoming isometric in a sprinter style stance. And I'm driving up against a pad or maybe some J hooks. And I'm in a sprinter stance where I'm holding that pattern and I'm driving that foot into the ground. I can go bent knee here, I can go straight leg, and I can change the direction and the placement of my toes. Out, in, straight ahead. I can get real creative here. I'm gonna be in this position on the field. I wanna apply that force really hard into the ground, overcoming isometric, great for the ankle, calf, Achilles. That's our 6 ankle drills in the ankle area to help keep athletes on the field. All right, next up, we're talking about the knee. This one pops up in all types of sports. ACL, MCL, a lot of tendonitis starts creeping up. We gotta take care of the knee. Here are our 6 exercises. First off, I love this TKA variation. We call it Moonwalkers. I'm kind of Michael Jackson moonwalking backwards here. Like it, it's just simple, a little bit more effective than your standard single leg TKE. Next, I love reverse Nordics. It's great for knee health because I'm really gonna get that full range of motion in the knee. of going all the way back and staying in good position, whether I'm assisted with a band or not, I'm gonna target that full range, where often, sometimes in squats or lunges, athletes, they don't go all the way down sometimes. This is gonna help them address that end range motion of that knee. Really important on protecting that body part is getting full range of motion. I love single leg step downs. The reason why I like step downs as opposed to step up, because it really focuses on the eccentric part of the movement, where I'm slowly driving that back leg to the ground. Make sure the heel is down and that toe is up on that off leg. Next, we're talking drop catch Bulgarian split squats. Why the drop catch? This is gonna help us absorb force into the ground. The drop catch Bulgarian is gonna be really good for putting the brakes on in my knee. That's where a lot of injuries happen, when I'm not good at putting the brakes on. Great drill for the knee. Next up, we got reverse sled drags. Great in targeting that VMO of the knee. I'm emphasizing the toe to heel action. If I'm sprinting a lot, really targeting that hamstring, well, boy, I better figure out a way to address that front side of that knee, and the reverse sled drags is a really good way to do that. I also really like any type of wall sit variation, specifically single leg wall sits or floating heel double leg wall sits. These two variations take this exercise to the next level, and you won't have to do it for long. Your quads will be burning up. A single leg or a floating heel is a really good way to kind of get some efficient work in, and it's not going to take so long. Those are 6 elite exercises that we can do. They're going to help put some body armor on that knee area. Let's break down the hamstring exercise. 2 in, 1 out hamstring curl. I'm curling in with 2 feet, lifting 1 leg, and I'm eccentrically going out with 1 leg, really working that single leg eccentric hamstring pattern. It mimics what I'm doing when I'm sprinting. Get that leg in that cycle pattern. That's an eccentric motion. This is really gonna mimic that or help protect us when we do get in that outstretched cycle pattern in a max velo or a deep running route. That's gonna be a really good exercise. 2 in, 1 out. Gliding hamstring curls. I love this because it hits the hamstring in 2 ways. Hip extension with my hips coming up, and then knee extension with that curling action. I got my heels driven into a bench or a plyo box. I'm hanging on to some TRX straps, and I'm driving my hips up and getting that hamstring to the knee. Great, great exercise. Check this bad boy out. You're gonna wanna implement this in with your athletes. Third, I love Nordic hamstring curls. Tried, true, tested. They got a test after it, for goodness sake, all right? The Nordic hamstring curl works. I also like any type of variation off of that, like a razor hamstring curl. Very few other hamstring curls hit that hamstring like a Nordic or a razor does. Gotta be hitting Nordics if you're serious about training. I really like a drop catch RDL, similar to our drop catch Bulgarians. It's gonna mimic that stabilization pattern where I'm sticking my foot in the ground or I'm running and I gotta hit the brakes on my sprint from that dead stop, dropping it, and I'm catching it at that end range position, that fast eccentric, and then hitting the brakes on that hamstring. A lot of times when we're sprinting, we got to put the brakes on and stop. This drop catch is going to help mimic that and protect us from when that happens in the game. ISO hold, stiff leg, bridges. I'm getting that hamstring out in that lengthened position, kind of manipulate that foot length. I can be short bridge, I can be long bridge, I can be kind of in between. I can target that hamstring in different ways. Love ISO hold, stiff leg patterns. And then lastly, I really like glute bridge walkouts, band resisted. I'm working that hip extension with my butt off the ground, but I'm getting that knee extension. Those heels are getting resisted with those bands, and I'm doing a hamstring curl 1 by 1, foot by foot, glute bridge walkouts, band resisted. Need to be putting them in your program. Next, we're talking the groin. This one creeps up, and when it happens, it can be lingering, and it can be a problem because it's such a hard area to get to. Talk about Copenhagen side plank whether I'm isometrically holding, whether I'm doing a eccentric lowering and back up, or even I like where I'm doing a chaos Copenhagen where that foot is on some bands. Any Copenhagen variation is going to be great for the groin. Also, love slant board lateral lunge, specifically when I'm pushing off that thing and I'm coming back to that start position. The slant board takes this exercise to the next level because it allows the athlete to get more range of motion in that lateral lunge. More range of motion, it's going to be good in terms of protecting that body part. Really good exercise for the groin. I'm going back to the sled, lateral sled drags. I'm bridges the gap from the weight room to the playing surface. I can load this up and not have to worry about so much eccentric load on the groin and getting too sore. Next up is med ball groin squeeze. I'm overcoming that isometric. I'm squeezing that med ball, whether I'm lying in a glute bridge or I kick my legs out a little further, or if I'm standing up, I'm hitting that groin in all different directions and angles. All you need is a med ball and your athletes are rocking and rolling. Next up, I'm calling these split stance wideouts. I'm putting a band on the inside of my knee. I'm getting some good tension, bringing that knee towards the midline of my body in a dynamic fashion. Just a good way for me to attack that groin and do something that I'm probably going to be doing out on the field. It bridges the gap between the weight room and the playing field. And lastly, we got kettlebell hip shifts. I want to do these dynamically, wide stance, and really helps me kind of ease my way into that end range motion, but in a dynamic way. It's safe. It helps the athlete kind of feel out their range of motion, helps with some mobility because that kettlebell is going to kind of bring you down further. It's a nice primer for any type of lift or practice. Those are our 6 injury protection exercises that we want to hit for our groin. Next area, hip, low back. We're joining those two together because a lot of times when players deal with low back pain, we can address that by hitting the hips. That's going to clean up a lot of low back issues. All right, let's talk about the hip. I love any type of dead bug variation or leg lowering variation. Because the athlete's back is on the ground, it gives them that reinforced tactical feedback to whether or not their low back is pressed up against that ground or that sand dune. Make sure their technique is on point. For any type of glute bridge marches, you're gonna fire up that glute, but also you're working the hip flexor. Great bang for your buck exercise. Hip flexor, glute, one exercise. Awesome. Any type of glute bridge march. I love banded clamshell in that side plank position, working that side plank, but I'm also hitting that glute knee. I'm driving my hips through, separating those knees. Man, that glute is going to be fired up. Direct hip flexor work. Hip flexor knee drive, whether that's using a band around my feet or if a cable strap where I can strap up my ankle or driving that knee almost like a sprinter position. This is the movement sprinting athletes do out on the field. And if I'm not strong in that hip flexor, weak things tend to break. So we gotta address the hip flexor. I love single leg hip openers or can openers like the clamshell, but because we're standing and we got that foot in the ground, we're working more stability through the ankle, knee, and the hip. It's gonna be really good stability. Also firing up those hips and those glutes. And then lastly, we have elevated plank knee tucks. If I got a roller or sliders, I'm hitting those knee tucks, getting some good hip flexor work, but really I'm in a joint friendly position by elevating that plank. It's gonna feel a little bit better on my low back, that straight line position, elevated position. So really like elevated plank knee tucks, especially for our heavier, bigger athletes out there. But those are our 6 exercises we like for the hips, low back. Take care of those hips. Next up, we're talking shoulder. If you're in a contact sport, you're gonna wanna pay attention to this. Shoulder protection is gonna be real important. First up, I love the face pull with the external rotation. Great upper back work. I can use bands, I can use cables. That little ER finish at the top, that W motion, man, it's great. Everybody can benefit from it. I love my YWT variation. Whether they're on the TRX, you use weights and that lying position on a bench or the ground, or I can use bands. Many ways to attack this YWT. Great for that upper back and that shoulder girdle. I'm doing a lot of things in front of my body. Better be hitting the backside just as much, if not even more. Next up, we got Cuban Y press or a muscle snatch. Getting that shoulder in all different types of position. Dumbbells, bands, even jammer arms. I'm hitting a wide shrug. Then I'm externally rotating those shoulders. And then I'm pressing up and away from my ears, getting a medial delt, getting that whole shoulder complex in one exercise. Cuban Y raise, muscle snatch, you gotta be hitting them. Then I'm on to a lying lateral raise or a leaning lateral raise. I'm gonna be getting that extra range of motion on the way down. If this kind of takes the traditional side raise and takes it to the next level, whether I'm leaning against an incline bench or I'm leaning away from a rack, if I'm adding that range of motion, getting that end range, it's gonna be beneficial for that shoulder. Then I'm on to some plate front raise complex, several exercises in a row. I'm gonna hit some front raises, then I'm gonna hit some figure eights, and then I'm gonna hit some truck drivers, and I'm gonna finish with some punch outs. Really get some good time under tension. It really packs on the muscle when the front delt. And then lastly, our bottoms up kettlebell press. And it's a hard exercise. So you gotta check your ego on the door here. You don't need a lot of weight. You gotta stabilize through that wrist, that elbow, that shoulder. Everything's gotta work in unison. I'm getting some good grip work with that kettlebell handle. Love these for shoulder protection, for shoulder stability. Those are our shoulder protection drills. And to round off our 7 most common injury areas, we're finishing with the neck. What's the best neck protection plan? I love 4-way neck. You've seen this, manual resistance. You've seen athletes use bands. I personally like using a sand bell. Put it on my head. I don't have to wait for a partner. I'm rocking and rolling. I'm getting it done. If you're training a lot of athletes at once in a team setting, boom, it's real efficient. Putting the sand bell on my head and working my way forward, backwards, side to side. Love 4-way neck. Also, love neck bridges isometrically. Whether I'm using an RX pad up against the wall and I'm leaning into it in 4 different directions, or I'm kind of taking that to the next level and I'm using a plyo box and I'm in that tabletop position. Iso hold neck bridges do wonders for your neck strength. These are a tough exercise, but they're great for neck strength. Gotta be hitting some iso hold bridges. Then, the iron neck. This is a really cool device out there. I highly recommend getting and using an iron neck because it allows you to work that neck in resisted 360-degree motion. With the 4-way neck and the iso bridges, I'm not getting those in-between angles like I can get with the iron neck. My go-to iron neck exercise, figure eights, and I love diagonal lookaways. Add these 2 into your program. You complement these with your resisted 4-way neck or your iso hold bridges. Now you're getting a full comprehensive neck training program. If you're serious about protecting your neck, you might want to get an iron neck. Figure eights and diagonal lookaways. Those are your go-to iron neck exercises. Next up, we got the trap 3 Y raise. Really good exercise to do to kind of hit those traps in a different angle. I'm getting that shrug and an angled position. It hits that trap in a different way. We got to protect the neck. We're talking the shoulder and the traps as well. Incline shrug. Again, hitting those shrugs in a different plane, in a different way. I'm laying on an incline bench. I'm loading up the weight and I'm shrugging like I would standing straight up, but now I'm on that 45-degree angle. And then lastly, I love some chaos shrugs. You can gimmick up with some bands. I love using fat grips for these. I'm putting it in between a kettlebell and I'm hitting that shrug and I'm holding it at the top and I'm letting that kettlebell or that weight bounce 1, 2, 3 times. Next up, we got arm care. This is our bonus section. So if you're a quarterback, pitcher, boxer, thrower, man, I gotta protect that arm and I gotta hit some arm care. Band resisted T-spine rotation. I'm getting assistance on the way in, and I'm getting resistance on the way out. Mobility with some strength. Gotta love it. Then we got some incline, Cuban raise, and we're adding some sweeps to it. Sweeping behind us really humbles you, and it forces you to keep those arms back. If I'm constantly going in the forward motion, I'm throwing, I gotta work the backside. Then I'm hitting some ER, external rotation, chaos, external rotation. I use the jammer arms for this. I'm driving that arm in that external rotation. I'm letting that thing bounce. 1, 2, 3. Keep my core tight. Really gonna be good for that shoulder stability. Gonna take that external rotation exercise and we're gonna take it up a notch. You have a long band or a what's that strap. I really love these resisted rotations. If I'm playing quarterback, I'm pitching, throwing a punch as a boxer, it's gonna help me feel how to turn those hips. This really bridges the gap between the weight room and the field. Put my arm through, rotate around, and I'm rocking and rolling. Reverse plyo throws. It's gonna be the reverse action of them throwing. Important when you're talking about protecting that area. So if I'm doing something forward, I gotta be hitting the backside of it. I gotta protect it. Reverse plyo ball throws up against the wall. Really good exercise to do. And then lastly, medicine ball, side toss, rotational toss, any type of toss where I gotta work those hips and pivot those hips. It's gonna mimic that throwing motion you're doing on the field, but now I'm getting more powerful by using the med ball, getting my hips involved, getting my core involved, being violent, being able to let it rip and be ballistic up against that wall. That's gonna help my throwing power, my punching power, med ball side toss. How to have it within your arm care program. Now that we've covered injury areas, the exercises, there's a lot of stuff on this board. How can we implement it within our training setting? First off, I love it in our activation periods. The roadmap protocols, ROA activate. If I'm hitting a squat or a deadlift, Tib Raises, some Copenhagen groin planks, some hamstring curl variation, all that stuff is going to be really good. Not only get me ready to hit that deadlift or hit that squat, but it's going to be making sure I check these boxes and providing these exercises to those athletes. It's going to get us warmed up, it's going to get us primed, but it's also checking the boxes and making sure we get this stuff in. Really like it pre-practice. How can we kind of sneak some of this stuff in using bands, using some med balls, or even body weight exercises to kind of make sure we're getting some of this in at practice? Maybe you talk to your head coach or the sports medicine staff and we kind of carve out some time, 5 minutes, make it part of your warm-up routine so you're getting that in from a micro dose standpoint, post-workout or extra work. Let's say I hit that workout, but on the slides, on the TV screens, it says extra work. And you give the players options. Hey, you want to hit extra shoulder? You want to hit extra ankle care? You want to hit extra hamstring? Maybe each player has something different. I have something nagging me in my ankle, I'm gonna hit some ankle care. I got the hamstring lingering, I'm gonna hit some hamstring care. So it's really individual and it allows players to kind of give them the freedom to make their choice on where they want to hit. All right, so love it in that post-workout or extra section. Last thing is that if I'm a performance coach, I want to be making sure I have some of these exercises in our supplemental work, right? So what I mean by that is you hit your main squat, now I'm on to some of my single leg work, my lunges, maybe my RDLs, some of my posterior chain work. I gotta make sure I'm hitting some of this stuff in that area. So from a programming standpoint, if I'm hitting single leg, is that hitting that quad? Am I doing a single leg step down versus a regular lunge? So I can really kind of come back from a distance and make sure some of these exercises I'm hitting in my supplemental part. These are the areas where we can kind of implement it in. Activation, pre-practice, post-workout, extra, or within the workout itself with my supplemental work. Let's talk about how often we should be doing this stuff. The best way to hit this is in a microdose approach. We want to do a little bit at a time, but over a long period. We want to really kind of play the long game with this, and that's going to give us that return on investment when we stack a lot of this stuff over time, and now we got a lot of accumulated work. Now you've really built that body on 2x2, 2 sets, twice a week. Make it part of your routine. Make it part of the program. It's what you do now. You protect your body because your body is your business. And that is the best way to kind of approach the injury protection plan. In sports, the best ability is availability. And all of this is designed to help increase the chances and maximize player availability. It's not injury prevention, it's injury protection. This type of stuff, it's gonna increase the chances that you play in all of your games so that you can ball out, make plays, and dominate the competition. That's what we're talking about when we're talking injury protection plan, 8th Street Gym style. I hope you liked it. I hope you got something out of it. Subscribe to that channel because there's a lot more where that came from. Young guns dreaming of the next big stage. Adults pushing limits, breaking out.